Welcome to Broad TV News.
It is the system that sustains human life. This year we focus on a crisis that is invisible, pervasive, and deadly: pollution. But pollution is not just a smoke from exhaust pipes or waste in our rivers. At its core, pollution is a chemical problem. Over 350,000 chemicals and chemical mixtures are registered for production and use globally as of 2024. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, and the Stockholm Convention Secretariat. That's more than triple the number recorded in the 1990s. These chemicals are in our plastics, pesticides, cosmetics, electronics, textiles, and fuels. They drive modern life, but only a fraction, less than 5%, have been properly tested for human and environmental safety. The effects are now visible in our bodies and ecosystem. 1. Persistent organic pollutants like PCBs and DDT accumulate in fat tissues, disrupt hormones, and cause cancer and reproductive harm. Today, the rate of cancer is on the rise. These are some of the reasons behind what we see today. Heavy metals like lead, mercury, cadmium damage the brain, kidneys, and nervous system, even at low doses. Airborne chemicals such as benzene, formaldehyde, and fine particulate matter trigger asthma, heart disease, and premature death. Microplastics and plastic additives like phthalates and bisphenols act as endocrine disruptors linked to infertility and developmental disorders in children. We have industrialized faster than our ability to manage the chemical footprint. The result is that humans and wildlife are now exposed to a complex cocktail of substances that did not exist a century ago. Today, I will ask you through three things: how this chemical pollution is harming human health right now, how is it destabilizing the environment we depend on, what we as individuals, communities, governments, and industry can and must do about it. Pollution is the world's largest environmental cause of premature death. According to the World Health Organization and the United Nations Environment Programme, it estimates 9 million premature deaths annually are linked to pollution, more than HIV/AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. In Nigeria and across sub-Saharan Africa, the burden is disproportionate due to our triple exposure: air pollution from vehicle emissions, open burning, gas flaring, and generators; water pollution from industrial discharge, oil spills, and poor waste management; land and chemical pollution from e-waste, plastics, and agrochemicals. The economic cost is staggering. The World Bank estimates air pollution alone costs low and middle income countries over 5% of their GDP annually in health expenditure and loss of labor. Air pollution and respiratory cardiovascular disease, fine particulate matter, PM2.5, and chemicals like benzene penetrate deep into the lungs and bloodstream. Chronic exposure leads to asthma, COPD, heart attacks, stroke, low birth weight, and developmental delays in Nigeria cities. Particulate matter 2.5 levels often exceed World Health Organization guidelines by 5 to 10 times. Contaminated water spreads cholera and typhoid. Heavy metals from industrial and artisanal activities cause neurological damage, kidney failure, cancer, reproductive issues. The Niger Delta remains a case study in how decades of low and chemical pollution poison drinking water and farmland with attendant health defects. My leader here, Dr. Uyo Ojo, has been at the forefront of campaigning against the destruction of artisanal refineries because of the humongous environmental impacts of these activities. Let's talk about chemicals and soil pollution. Pesticides, industrial solvents, plastic additives act as endocrine disruptors. They interfere with hormones, leading to infertility, developmental disorders, certain cancers, and metabolic diseases like diabetes. Today, one of the most common health challenges is fertility problem. If you ask medical practitioners, they will tell you that for a fact. And the factors responsible for this, they are things we live with every day of our life. Pollution increases stress, anxiety, cognitive decline. Children exposed to lead often show reduced IQ and learning difficulties with lifelong consequences for productivity and national development. The root cause of what we're talking about includes energy poverty, weak waste management, industrial and extractive practices, urbanization without planning, low awareness and enforcement. Therefore, I want to conclude by saying that if we must change the narrative as it relates to what we have currently in our world and in our environment, it requires our collective responsibility. It's not a task for government alone. As individuals, when you take our tires to burn in the environment, you are contributing hazardous chemicals to the environment. Some of these chemicals, they can travel from here to the United States of America. Just the same way, some of these hazardous chemicals can travel from the United States to Nigeria, and they pollute our environment. And they are persistent in our environment. They are persistent in human beings, which means when they get into your system, they will be loading up, they will be piling up and piling up and piling up until they start constituting nuisance to you. So we have a responsibility to make the environment a safer place for us all to live in. Finally, if you follow trends on social media, some of those trends, they are not AI, they are real. Today, they talk about human meat, bioengineered meat. These guys who are the elites are saying that pollution is too much in the environment. We want to reduce carbon emission. One of the ways we can achieve that is to reduce the consumption of meat. When we reduce consumption of meat by reducing how much of cows are slaughtered, then the carbon footprint will be reduced. I saw a video recently. A certain kind of tick is a parasite, is spreading in the United States of America. When that tick bites you, it gives you an allergic condition that will make you not to like meat. But you will like bioengineered meat. Interestingly, some of these meats, they are made from human flesh. They use them in restaurants. They use them in making sandwiches, shawarma, and the likes. These are real. These are facts. Today, we have to be careful what we eat and what we drink, and even what we wear. When you go to the big supermarkets to buy things, especially fruits, check what is on it. Because you will be eating a fruit that was produced from the cells of human beings, which means without knowing, you have become carnivorous. You have become somebody who eats flesh without knowing. These are stark reality in our world today. But the way out is for us to be environmentally conscious. The way out is for us to grow organic food. And that is why I like what we have in Nigeria and Africa. Every season, there's always a food crop that is dominant. We're in the corn season now. When you are eating the corn, still check, because they also have genetically modified corn. These foods are capable of changing your DNA. If your DNA is changed, you are no longer a human being. Professor Otakia will tell us more about that as we make progress. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to stop here and thank you very much for coming for this auspicious occasion of the 2026 World Environment